Good morning. Today we are going to learn a little bit about executive function. So this was a conference that I recently went to and felt like the material was highly applicable to so many people. So I thought I would just make a short video about it. Um, Currently having technical issues. Okay, here we go. So so it's by a speech therapist called Sarah Ward. And if you like this information, she's redoing the seminar online in April through AEP. Um, so I'm just going to share a little bit about it. It's for pretty much anybody who wants to improve their productivity. She kind of highlights most likely kids with ADHD, but really, with the technology world that we're in, it's affecting so many more people to be able to like visualize what needs to get done and manage their time without getting distracted and getting lost in other things. So she has like two main ideas. The first one is to visualize what done looks like. So having a clear image of what done looks like, whether it's getting ready in the morning to go to school or completing an assignment or doing something much bigger, like getting a job, that whole big picture. So she has that is her one main concept is being able to visualize what done looks like. And from there, kind of breaking it down into what it takes to get done. And the other big concept is just understanding time and being able to visualize time. So we're just going to touch on both of those topics a little bit. And then hopefully you'll have some new tools to try in your classroom to help students be able to get things done and be more productive. So the first thing is this Chrome extension. It's free. It's called Thinking Time Tracker. And if you go on and you open up your Google Chrome page and you type in Thinking Time Tracker or Chrome extension, you'll get this option to download it. Um, then once you download it, up in the right-hand corner on your screen, on any Chrome window, you'll see this little puzzle piece that maybe you haven't even noticed before, but it's for Chrome extensions. There's a lot of great Chrome extensions, and they just keep coming out with more things that used to be things we had to pay for, and now they're free on this Chrome extension. I keep discovering new ones all the time. But this Thinking Time Tracker is this clock that I have pictured here, and when you have a task for your class to do, this would be something you could project up onto your smart board. Um, and the first color, the yellow, is like getting ready, kind of like getting their materials, showing how to use that time. So those first 5 minutes might be the time it takes for them to get their materials ready. The next 20 minutes, the green might be the amount of time that they're going to be engaged in working on the activity. And you'll notice this little line between 7 and 8. That's your midpoint checkpoint. So, midway through their work time, they should be noticing or being prompted to check to see, are you getting your work done? Are you getting as much done as you hope to get done? We're halfway through our time. Once once they get to the red, that's indicating it's time to clean up, to turn in their work, to be done. The nice thing about this clock is as the minute hand moves along, the color fades, but it doesn't completely disappear. So then they still have that picture of what time looked like. And when they don't get anything done, you can look back and go, okay, this was the amount of time that has passed. Now the minute hand is all the way up to the 10. All of our time has passed and you haven't gotten anything done. So then you start a discussion about something she refers to as time robbers, things that steal our time, whether it's having, multiple screens open and they're flipping to screens that they prefer versus getting their work done, or just being distracted or playing with something or talking to their neighbor or whatever it was, but helping them to identify what is stealing their time, that they're not getting things done, um, is something she calls time robbers. So some of the kids, she used this as a visual example and said that this could even be an assessment of understanding if your kids might need this level of support. So looking at this picture, most of us would understand that the vegetables are organized by peppers or by cabbage, like they're all kind of compartmentalized. but kids that are attention deficit or just really kind of, not efficient in their approach to things would really just notice how, oh, one of the red peppers is out of place. Oh, there's another one out of place. And they would just notice maybe random things, or they'd think about, oh, that cabbage, you use cabbage, or like they'd have some other completely different idea to talk about. And they would never answer your question about how is this produce organized. So they're kind of the all over the place kid that doesn't really focus and think about the question at hand, but jumps to like seven other things first. So helping them manage time, figure out what they need to do, and just streamline that process is the objective. These are some other descriptions about maybe the kids that we're targeting. They just kind of leave things undone. Everything is disorganized. Their desk is a disaster, like just no management of time or materials. Um, and why would it not be just something that we want to continue having like a list of get this done? Or if it's getting ready, like in this picture, so part of this approach could be helping a student or your own child visualize what getting ready in the morning looks like so that you would have a picture of them ready, and that picture would be the done part of it. And in the past, we've done things like created checklists of things that they needed, but she's saying that those checklists, then the kids are dependent on those checklists and they're not internalizing that process of visualizing what needs to be done. Instead, they're relying on that checklist and it doesn't become internalized. So, to kind of steer away from checklists and focus more on what done looks like. And like for this child, it's just a picture of her done, her ready to go to school. So that's her done for this task. Um, so her concept is these three boxes: get ready, do, done. You start with the done, and she's even suggested using fun glasses to put on to like help kids, focus and visualize what does done look like. Of course, that would be in the early stages of talking about it and teaching it that we're going to look through our special lenses to know what done is, and then back chaining that to understanding how we'll get to done. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Um, so getting done, the red, what will it look like? Green, doing, what do I need to do? How long will each step take? Like managing my time. And getting ready, what materials will I need? Those are the steps that we're going to be working through. Um, I will share this PowerPoint with you. So you'll have all these things because I'm kind of going through quickly, but just outlining that process again in this slide. This might be like an example of your maybe classroom page for a math activity when we were doing virtual instruction. And it looks nice and it seems like everything's there. But when you kind of glance at it, sometimes as a kid, it might seem like you're not really sure what to do or what the whole picture is or what we're working towards, as compared to this different layout where the done product is being able to subtract. What they're going to do is they're going to watch a video about it and they're going to do a story problem. And what do they need? They need their number line, their story problem organizer, and their math cubes. So just kind of lays it out a little bit differently in that sequence of get ready, do, done. So like I said, this is just another example of that child who now is starting to internalize like, oh, it's time to go home. This is what I need. And they can visualize themselves going home. So they have their backpack, or actually, yeah, their backpack and all the things that they need. So they're starting to create that internal image. Um, she uses this what is it called? My brain is not super clear this morning. Anyways, she calls it mime it. So it's shortened for make a picture. What will I look like for the I? M, movement, what motions do I have to go through? E, how will I feel in the future? And IT, the if then. So if I do this, then this will happen. So it's kind of her mime it. For some people, this mime it makes more sense than the get ready, do, done. So just another take on the same sort of idea. Those kids that I have concerns about with, getting to the right place, getting things done, being efficient. they lack the skills of being able to read the room. They walk in and they have no idea, what's going on or what they're supposed to do. So she recommends just creating learning zones in the classroom so they know if it's time for them to do writing, they're going to go over to the writing zone, get their writing folder, get their materials, or whatever it is. If they're over in the math zone, if they see all the kids doing math, they know all their math manipulatives. I know I'm oversimplifying things, but those kids that can't read the room, they come in and they're just lost. They just wander all over the place. So anytime there can be some extra visual to help them know what's going on, that is helpful. Um, so she talked about being a future thinker. We've kind of talked about that already, of just being able to visualize, but helping these kids internalize that to the next step of beginning to self-talk. When we gesture, I'm gesturing a little bit this morning, just naturally. But when you gesture, you're making those connections in your brain and you're talking yourself through things. Um, but they don't really talk themselves through. They just kind of react to what's going on in the environment. So helping them build in that self-talk. The if then, or first I do this, then I do this, but kind of that rehearsal of what they're going to do to be successful. um, Planning out those tasks, just helping them kind of work through those stages of visualizing what done looks like, what steps do I need to get there, and what materials do I need, and just helping them talk through it in both directions. Um, so she said, why don't we start with get ready? Like, you need to get ready for school. And this girl responds, I know. Um, but get ready, it can be, it's kind of like that checklist of, if they have to rely on a checklist, they're not internalizing what get ready or get done or be ready, let's go looks like. So just reinforcing that um, nonverbal working memory of rehearsing what it looks like and then building in those steps. She talked about like for kids having a picture of themselves being done. Kind of talked about this a little bit, but then you could even label, like you could put a circle around, you could put this in like a clear um, page protector and use a marker and circle, oh, lunchbox, backpack, to like help them give those words to those things. And that might help build up that self-talk as well. Um, and then kind of gradually decreasing those supports as they internalize it a little bit more. So she used those pictures and just said, like, the next step after kind of helping them label things would be to say, show me and tell me your plan. Like, what is it going to look like? So maybe they pull out a picture of themselves on their phone, of themselves being ready to go, and they say, this is what I need, and they can start to talk through it. Or it could be a picture of them doing their work and having their work done in class, and then you saying, okay, show me what it's going to look like when you're done with this task, and helping them develop that self-talk. um, so thinking in pictures just increases that working memory and that problem solving, gesturing, all those kinds of things just help reinforce that self-talk. They As they begin to internalize this and understand what done looks like, then that decreases their impulsiveness because they're less distracted and they're more able to like self-talk and self-regulate and understand what they need to do. Just another example of getting done. Second time I have that in there. So here's that picture with things labeled. Getting ready for baseball. These are the things I need. Um, could be something like at home, like organizing their things and understanding that everything has a place. Just another way to think about if you were teaching shop class, maybe it would be a picture of what safety looks like. So you need all of these things instead of having a whole bunch of lists on the wall of you need your sound protection, your eye protection, but whatever. Instead, just having a picture. And she found that when they put these pictures in, that kids were much more quick to get their safety gear and apply it in a shop setting like this as compared to when it was just written out in words. Kids are not reading words, which is pretty sad, um, but they're really quick on reading pictures. So talked about like planning and how lots of times we're in a different place when we start to think about what we have to do if we're transitioning to another class. We always talk about how kids have such difficulty with transitions. That's because they're not planning ahead. They're not thinking ahead. They're not visualizing what it looks like. So just helping them to transition and understand all the steps it's going to take to transition, what it's going to look like. What does done look like in a transition? Well, done maybe looks like you're in the gym for PE class and you have um, put away your work that you were working on and you've walked in the hallway, like whatever the steps it takes, but to help them envision what done looks like for a transition is just as important as getting done with a task. Just a couple more visuals of what it might look like. So get ready, do, done. If you're using it for your whole class, you might even just use like electrical tape on your whiteboard and have, if it was a worksheet, you could have a completed worksheet. Or if it was like writing a story, you could have a story written down and have it in the done column. Like this is what the expectation is. This is what it's going to look like. What are you going to do? What's going to go in the green? Well, you're going to solve problems 1 through 10, or you're going to write 3 paragraphs or whatever it's going to be, and get ready. What materials do you need? You need your laptop or your iPad or pencil and paper, worksheet, whatever it is. And you're going to just kind of have those laid out so it's really clear. Here's just a couple examples I have for get ready, do, done. Like I said, I'll just be sending these on to you. Here's another example. I used different colors for this student and just his job was to practice handwriting. He's a CRVA student. So he was going to identify his time robbers and do some handwriting while he did it. So here is another example of a writing lesson that's just written out with words, and finding that kids don't often read it all or don't internalize it as compared to the same lesson that's written in the get ready, do, done. It still has a number of words, but they can look at the end product and then kind of just glance through and understand what needs to be done quicker. Just more ideas of like what get ready, do, done looks like. Get ready, do, done. She added this last part, get done, because for kids in the virtual remote setting, maybe they don't understand what get done looks like. Like, do I turn it in virtually? Do I hand it in? Do I take a picture of it? Like, how do I turn it in? So she added kind of that last lower red box to that. Just another example of what get ready, do, done might look like. And that's that. So I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, just email me or reach out and we can have a conversation, but I hope this has been helpful. Have a great day.